Welcome to Orca Watch Live with Robin Petch.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our very last Orca Watch Live. I can't believe we're already at our very last one. We've got a very busy program tonight, slightly longer program than usual, so I won't waste any more time, and we'll move on and try and catch up with our sightings news in a few moments. As you see, 7:35. At 7:45, we're going to have a roundup of the week. First of all, myself, and then we'll be joined by Kiara, and we'll have a little talk about the initial outcomes of the week. And then moving on, we're going to have a look at Sea-Watch Foundation's work. We'll have some of our guests back to talk about their work, and a couple of new guests as well, talking about the work they do behind the scenes to make Sea-Watch a success. Finally, we'll catch up with our team of coordinators and partners who will share with us their highs and lows from the week, those best moments from a whole week of Orca Watch. Stick with us, we've got a great show for you. So let's start with a look at the sightings that we've had over the last couple of days. And I had to use Steve's image really there of the orcas from the other night. But I'm just going to go back to tomorrow first to have a look and see what's been seen in our core areas mainly. And as you see, the orca continued. Now, we knew that already because we heard that Steve was not going to bed. So he carried on seeing more animals into the early hours of the morning, as did the people with him. He wasn't the only one who stayed up. Too good a chance. And even at 6:15, Kath and Karen saw more orca at Duncansby Head. But elsewhere, basking sharks, minke whales, harbour porpoises and bottlenose dolphins seen in various places. And of course, we have a map to show all of those sightings from Saturday. Here we go. Here's the sightings map for Saturday's views. You can see all of the dots there, how close. Lots of minke whale sightings around Orkney. It was really nice for Orkney. The ha just lifted a little bit, gave them a really good chance to actually see some minke whales around there. And there are the orca. Some of the orca are actually hidden under the minke whale signs. If you look really carefully, just to the left of Duncansby Head, just to the bottom left of the orange dot for the harbour porpoises, there's green under there as well. And then Risso's dolphins, harbour porpoises over in the Shetland, as well. Okay, so we'll move back to the tables and carry on having a look through there. And more sightings, as we've seen, just marked on the map we were just looking at. There's the minke whales seen by the Omri team and the harbour porpoises around Orkney, as well as the Risso's dolphins up there in Shetland. So moving on to today, and we don't normally do today, but of course this being the last day, there isn't another show to share with you. And you'll see the table finishes at just after 3 o'clock. We obviously have to get everything ready for the show in the evening, so there may be more sightings, and there probably will be. You know, on previous days I've shown these signs during the show, and by the next day we've doubled or trebled the number of sightings. So we'll see. They will keep coming in. We'll have a look at the map that shares these again. And as you see there, we have 3 species marked. Again, more sightings around Orkney today. So finally, and we did talk to Emma on Friday, of course, and she's been moaning the fact that the har had been covering the islands for most of the week. Well, it's just cleared enough, as our forecast showed, to get a few sightings there, and more orca up there in Orkney as well. It really has been a fabulous week. So what I'd like to do now is just share with you the highlights as far as the orca sightings are concerned. I have a number of tables here I can share with you. I've just extracted all of the orca sightings for the whole week, and what a week it has been. We started on the Friday, of course. Orca Watch didn't start officially till Saturday, but we had people in place already by Friday, and we'd already seen 2 pods. We had the 169s possibly seen from this charter fishing boat, which we weren't able to announce earlier in the week. And the animals that Christina and Robert saw that we announced early in the week turned out to be the 19s pod, including Musa, who's a very well-known individual, and Hulk and Knot, again, 2 other individuals from the area were seen as well. Saturday was a great day for sightings. That was the day we knew we'd seen the 169s. Chris Wilson seen them first in the morning there. And then the sightings carried on. What an amazing day that was, to actually have a named pod so early in the week on our very, very first day. There's the image that Robert caught that we now know is from the 19s pod over there in Orkney. And that was fab, because that's Orkney's orca sighting. As we've said, the har has caused a few problems, but they had those sightings quite early on to bank, if you like. Here's a picture of the 169s, and I do apologise, that's not actually Robert's photograph. I don't think that's somebody else's, and I've not actually corrected that, so my apologies to whoever that photograph was taken by. Moving on to Sunday, no orca sightings at all. Monday, some nice sightings again in various places. Shetland again, 4 different sites there. They were moving around, and they were actually watched making a kill. And now, of course, we knew we had the 12s pods in the area, the 12s pod in the area as well. Not just the 5 core members, but some other animals they were travelling with. Scottish Icelandic pods. We heard from Philippa early in the week and learned about how they're moving between the 2 areas, feeding and doing everything in both sites. So they're neither Scottish nor Icelandic, they are both. And of course, along with that was the breaking news, which Hugh Harrop revealed live on our show, that there was a new calf for the 12 pods. That's the 12s pod. That's always a special time. We had a wonderful talk on Wednesday, and I do want to remind you of that, by the team behind the Scottish Killer Whale Photo Identification Catalogue. If you missed that talk, like all the talks, it is available on the Sea-Watch Foundation YouTube channel. So if you'd like to learn more about the amazing work that went into that catalogue, that's the show you want, the Wednesday show, the ID show. And we had this picture of the calf by Ryan Nisbet, which was trailed on the beginning of the Wednesday show. But there are the rest of those sightings going on to Wednesday. More orca, particularly Shetland again. Hannah saw them quite early in the day. More proof that it was the 169s back again. It was 170 was the whale that Hannah actually photographed. But some great behaviours, some great movement and feeding seen by those animals. And there is Hannah's photograph. That's the one that actually proved that the 169s were back in the area. That's number 170 with a little calf behind it, you can see there. And Robbie Brooks's photographs from Muckleflugger on Unst. I love the name of that place. Again, nice confirmation of the sighting there. Moving on to Thursday, more orca being seen still. And at this point, we had 5 or maybe 6 species already seen in our core areas. The core area being Sutherland and Caithness, Orkney and Shetland. We had minke, Risso's dolphins, harbour porpoises, frequently seen in those places. We had common dolphin sightings, a probable fin whale, which had been seen off by Steve. Sighting of bottlenose dolphins at Strathy Point as well, but of course that species was being seen frequently in the Moray Firth area, which is south of our main area, but we have a lot of support from people in those areas watching out, because the orca do move down there as well. And we had grey seal and basking shark sightings, our other megafauna, but actually in amongst there, although they weren't formally reported, we had harbour seals, common seals as well, because of course the orca were hunting them. And we had otter at this point as well. So some nice additional sightings. There's Karen's gloomy image proving how good a really good bridge camera can be in dark conditions. And to be fair, a good SLR too. Friday started early, orca at Dunnet Head. Other species seen early as well. Dunnet Head, Darren Dixon saw minke whale. We had basking shark, harbour porpoise, minke whales in lots of different locations. And we had Jessica and James, of course, reporting orca from Telmine Harbour, not knowing about Orca Watch, but ringing it in all the way to our Sea-Watch field office in Newquay. So the Telmine orca turned out to be, as we know later, the 27s. And there's Jessica and James's image from Telmine Harbour of the orca moving around that area. We also had orca activity over in Shetland still as well, of course, but suddenly they were all over the Sutherland and Caithness coast. And those 2 locations are not by any means the only one. As we know, Steve and lots of other people were running backwards and forwards along that coast. Scrabster area, Dunnet Head, all over that part of the world they were being seen. We have this photograph from Anita showing number 34 from the 27s group, the 27 pod, all happening here near Ray, near the Dounreay power station. And that amazing picture, and I must apologise, I was told off by my wife afterwards, and why I said it, I don't know, but apparently I said harbour seal on Friday, but it clearly is not a harbour seal. It's clearly a harbour porpoise. And Steve got this amazing sequence of that porpoise being hunted that evening. Quite remarkable shots. And then I have this little video clip. It's not, by Mark's own admission, the most professional piece of videoing, but boy, does it capture the reality of that evening.
Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah. Oh my God, I've got him videoing. Shh, 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 shh. They're coming in, they're coming in. that seal is going to be chips.
I'm just going to move it on a little bit.
Yes, I'm videoing it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Look at that. Oh my god. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Oh my god.
Just wait a moment. If you think this is good, watching the orca, you can see them blowing very clearly.
Oh my god. Oh my. What can you see, Kate?
So as you can see, absolutely amazing evening, which really was a perfect end to a perfect day for everyone there present, not least for James Copeland, of course, one of our very keen observers, who was actually 27 on the day that he finally saw the 27's pod. So what a great way to finish his week. More sightings continued through Saturday, of course. We've just been looking at it there. And over in Orkney, at this point, we still had the har. And I just want to make a quick shout out to everyone in Orkney there. We saw this slide when Emma showed it earlier. They started the week for us, even though it was sort of unofficial, if you like, because it started on Friday with the first orca sightings there. But they really struggled with the har all week. But it's got a bit better over the last couple of days, as we saw a few minutes ago. But in total, in Orkney, they had 20 sightings, 4 different cetacean species: harbour porpoise, minke whale, Risso's dolphins, common dolphins, 1 unidentified dolphin sighting, as well as a basking shark. So I know they've had a great week. We'll hear from Emma in a little while about the highs and lows. Now, this was our first call from the Hebrides, and I just want to start now just having a look at some other maps which Chiara has prepared. We'll have a look at a range of different maps, including the Hebrides, in a little while, but I think we're going to do Shetland first. So if we can bring that map up. And this just shows you the cluster of sightings for each of our core areas for the week. So these are all the sightings in Shetland. As you can see, 6 species marked on the maps. As we know, lots of orca sightings, the green dots, some of them hidden by the harbour porpoise dots. Here we can see. We have a similar map for Orkney, just to show that despite the har, they may not have had orca during the official Orca Watch week, but they did have them on the Friday. And they thought, I really feel for Orkney, because they thought they had orca again. And I did point those out in one of the previous shows, but actually looking back at the photographs, unfortunately, they were distant Risso's dolphins, not distant orca, unfortunately. So they only have that one Friday sighting. Caithness and Sutherland, our core area on the mainland, and again, a range of different species. As you can see, we have an undetermined dolphin species there. We have a probable fin whale, but a lot of different animals seen in different places. So really successful. And we'll talk to Chiara about the success of the week in a few minutes. Moving on then, just outside the main core area, we have all of these sightings from the Hebrides. Common dolphins quite frequently there, but as always, harbour porpoise. And I'm going to make another shout out for the harbour porpoise, because all around the country in our coastal waters, we can see the harbour porpoises. So not always easy to spot, especially in choppy conditions, but keep your eyes open for those little darlings. Okay, moving on. Finally, the Moray Firth, famous, of course, for its bottlenose dolphins, but Risso's and minke whales, and of course, harbour porpoise also been seen there. I can tell you from experience working there, on the days that you're seeing harbour porpoise around, it's a pretty good clue the bottlenose dolphins aren't in the vicinity. And if you're seeing the bottlenose dolphins regularly, you're probably not going to see the porpoise that day either, because the bottlenose dolphins do drive them away and sometimes even drive them out of the water, very similar to the way you saw that orca behaving a few minutes ago. Okay, we'll just go quickly back to the tables and things and move on through those and bring this part to an end. So I haven't got images of all of the different species, but we have, as we've said, seen Risso's dolphins and minke whales in our core area on a number of occasions, other species too. Just a very quick reminder of the Sea Watcher app. Please, if you would like to get involved, this is a great way to do it. You can report your sightings, but you can also use the video guides and the species pack to learn more about 35 different species found in Northern Europe, 30 of which you can see sometimes around the UK, but probably 15 or so of them reasonably regularly. So a good way to get involved, report your sightings, and this is a free download, tablets and phones, iOS and Android. And we will make an appeal again at the end, but I hope you've enjoyed Orca Watch Week, as I'm responsible for helping raise the profile of Sea Watch. We've provided a lot of really good free entertainment. I hope you'll agree it's been a high quality and an amazing week. And we do need funds to support all of our vital work. So that membership scheme, the Adopt a Dolphin scheme, and our PayPal giving fund, you can find the links to the giving fund in your YouTube feed just below this image now. There's a link there. Please do click on it and send Sea Watch some money. Or visit the website. There's blogs and all sorts of information and lots of information about our wider work on there, as well as links to all of the ways that you can support us. I hope you'll agree it's been a fabulous week, and we'll be very grateful for further support. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so moving on, we had a good look at the sightings, and we're going to have a little bit of a chat with Chiara now about how we think the week has gone, and a little more about Sea Watch and its work. So Chiara, let's see, there we go. Hello, welcome Chiara, nice to have you back.
Hi Robin, how are you doing?
All good, thank you. Very good. It's been an absolutely amazing week, and a big thank you. I mean, I'm going to say this as I go along, but behind the scenes, we've had an awful lot of people, and as our sightings officer, of course, Chiara and her team have been very much involved in providing the information to make this show. But really, more importantly than this show, making sure the information goes into our database correctly. So great work behind the scenes. I know we've got a little bit of a summary of number of sightings and some facts and information. We'll just have a quick look if we can first. We have a slide of 2019, which I'd just like to share with the guests. Obviously, Chiara has not had time to round everything up yet fully because, well, frankly, we haven't finished yet. This might be the last show, but today is not yet over. And the information is still coming in. We're still adding sightings from the beginning of the week even. So, but we doubled our effort back in 2018. Obviously, we can't measure that yet. We had 122 sightings, 7 species, 30 land watch sites and the John O'Groats ferry. And then additional sightings were sent in from the Hebrides and the West Coast. So while that's up there, Chiara, would you like to just tell us so far how many sightings we've had?
Well, I can tell that this year has been a great success, and I'm sure I speak for everybody. So if we have to go and look at the numbers, so in 2019 we had a total of 122 sightings. So far in 2021, we have received 165.
Wow.
Well, as you said though, Robin, very accurately, might not be the final total number, because we are still receiving sightings. We haven't received all the sighting from today, and we're still receiving back our land watch forms as well from our network of local volunteers. So I think that this number might very likely change as the event come to an end. But for now,
we'll just make a shout out for that just before you go on with the next numbers, Chiara, because I think you've made a really important point there. We've gathered information electronically, which we've shared with you very quickly, remarkably quickly, to be quite honest. I mean, the work that's gone on behind the scenes to bring those numbers to you every day is quite something, I have to say. But we have a lot of observers out there who are gathering data on effort forms. Some of that data we have been able to add and put into the mix, but there's a lot of paper forms for Chiara and the team to go through to add more into here. So we very well may have more sightings to add yet.
Yes, I'm confident we will. We have made our best count by gathering sightings coming from the app, sighting coming from the online submissions, sighting coming from part of the forums we received. And we have also scouted social media to get sightings out of there. We talked to our on-site volunteers. We talked to our regional coordinators. It's puzzle work, that's for sure.
Yes, it is.
It's a complex task to put everything together, but I'm pleased that everything went well, and I'm very pleased about this number. 165 is a great number. I mean, every year sits by itself, and any result is a good result, really. But this is an even higher number than our last live Orca Watch in 2019. So that's a great success and great teamwork.
And let's add into that as well, under amazingly difficult circumstances in some regard, because we were hoping that all of us, really, I mean, you and I would have been up there for a start, wouldn't we? It's all been done remotely, and the training for this has been done remotely. All of the submission of the data and everything. So the people up there in the field that have done it, and the behind the scenes team, to have actually increased the number of sightings, number of species, and let's move on. Number of species.
So we have recorded a total of 11 species during this year's Orca Watch. It's pretty stunning, considering that we know we have a total of 30 cetacean species that can be sighted in the UK in the summer months, and we are entering the summer. So we know there's a total of 30 species that are in UK waters. We know that we have 13 species that could generally be sighted in the core of the summer. Sighting 11 of 13 and still sighting 11 out of 30, I think it's a remarkable result. So it's a happy result, and on top of that, we also have recorded some more unusual species like the juvenile fin whale, like the baskin sharks being sighted in the islands, and then the otters that showed up as well. So I think, considering everything that was sighted, we really pretty much covered a good range of different marine mammal species, really.
I think from memory, and I might be wrong, Chiara, I don't have the numbers immediately to hand, but out of those 11 species, I think we've got definitely 7 and maybe 8 cetaceans, is it? Something like that anyway. We need to confirm this, obviously. As we said, it's data still coming in, but I think from memory, it's about 7 or 8 species that are at least probable.
Should be, because the only non-cetacean were the seals, the baskin sharks, and the otters. Yeah.
So that really is quite something. We've got a lot of highlights. We could talk about so many things that have been a success, not just these numbers, but one of the things that I've been really excited about in doing this show and fronting this show is actually hearing about the individuals that we've seen. And I really would like to look into that more after the event. We've had some amazing sightings, but I went back through it, and we know for a fact, we didn't know at the time, but we started off with the 19s on the Friday. Now, we didn't know it was at that point, but we've learned that since. But since then, we had the 12s and the 169s. And with that success, wow, I mean, finding a calf, how unusual is that? Yeah, that was just really good. So 12s and 169s, and then of course we wrapped it all up the other night with the mad rush along the coast, looking at the 27s, and everybody loves the 27s. Again, we would have. That's where we would have been, of course. If we'd been up there, we wouldn't have been on Shetland and Orkney to see the other ones, but we would have been right there to see those 27s. So really, just fabulous end to it to have had those animals there as well. Well, it has been an amazing Orca Watch. And we haven't mentioned the watch sites, have we? We've just said we've been running around the coast, but we have actually got a lot of watch sites as well, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's worth mentioning because we have, we've got the help. We got help by a pool of around 30 people, 30 local volunteers. But I'm confident that if we were to include everyone else that kind of participated, that heard of Orca Watch, and then reported sighting once the event ended and so forth, will probably have that number increase clearly. But just to mention the people that we know were on site collecting data, then I can tell confidently that these people are around 30, 28 to be exact. And these people really managed, as well as that kind of local network of people that helped them out as well, managed to cover 27 land watch sites, and including the islands, so Orkney, Shetland, and obviously mainland on top of the island. So that's a very good number. That's very good coverage, really. So there are several different locations on mainland that were covered in Caithness and Sutherland. And then if we include those stations alongside the different stations and locations covered on the island, so we have 27. If we then are to include all the different locations where we got sightings from around the Hebrides and the Moray area, then we are up to 55, which is a very good number too.
Yeah.
So very, very good result, I say. So considering that we've been running this for 9 days, I know it feels like a lot longer, but somehow it's only 9 days. Right? So in 9 days, 27 stations, 20 volunteers plus all the local, the community involved and the network of friends, etc. It was just, I think it's a great result. Yeah.
And as you say, that will increase, of course, probably as we get more information in. I will just point out for viewers as well. I mean, Chiara's given 2 numbers there. 27 is the land watch sites in the core area. 28th, of course, is the John O'Groats Ferry, one of our partners going backwards and forwards, which has added a number of sightings into the mix as well. So, well, our work is not over, of course. Orca Watch is about to come to a close, but we're all of us going to be carrying on. And I'll just answer again a question we were asked in the chat one evening. Somebody was coming to Scotland and said, should we still send our information in because Orca Watch will be over? Well, I've said on a number of occasions, Orca Watch is 1 week out of 52 for us and 1 species out of 30. So absolutely yes, and not just up here. All around the country, we have our regional coordinators collecting data, teams of volunteers and folks just like yourself who send something in from time to time and perhaps would like to get more involved. So about the app. We have an online sightings form. Every coastal county has a regional coordinator. Check our website, you can get in touch with them. But we're just going to give a little bit of a shout out to National Whale and Dolphin Watch, which is the other big event of our year. And Chiara, tell us a little bit about National Whale and Dolphin Watch.
Well, National Whale and Dolphin Watch is going to take place this year between July 24th and August 1st. We would be happy to see everyone involved in the safety of things. It's very, very similar to Orca Watch, but instead of just running it in Scotland, we are running it everywhere. It's a nationwide event. It's public. It's open. Online training is provided before the event begins. We have 4 beautiful sponsors offering prizes for our National Whale and Dolphin Watch raffle. Last year, we really collected a very good number of sightings, fighting the odds. We got 1,348 species recorded, 9 cetacean species, and a number also non-cetacean species too. And we had around 50 vessels involved, 180 land locations covered. We had over 700 volunteers involved, and we recorded a stunning 2,000 hours of effort as well. So every year is a new year. We shouldn't compare and contrast, but it would be great to do even better. It would be great to welcome more people. And so, yeah, take a note of July 24th and August 1st. And if you want to get in touch, please do. Our National Whale and Dolphin Watch email address is nwdw2021@gmail.com.
And all that information, of course, about the National Whale and Dolphin Watch and everything else is available on the Sea-Watch Foundation website, www.seawatchfoundation.org.uk. There are links to every aspect of the work that we do, and again, as we've said, to the different ways that you can support us. So do have a look there, see the latest news, and please come along to one of our sites and meet your local coordinators, as well as the training and everything Chiara talked about. If you want to get really involved and run watches, if that's not quite for you yet, just rock along to one of the sites and just turn up and see what's going on and chat and get involved. I'll tell you this, if you want to go and see something, you will be hooked for life. Chiara, thank you very much for your work this week and for what is to come. And yeah, fingers crossed. We all want a really good success at National Whale and Dolphin Watch, but you've been a big part of making Orca Watch a success too. So thank you very much. For now, Chiara, good night.
Bye.
Bye. Well, we're going to come back to Orca Watch in a little while, and we're going to meet our supporters on the ground, our observers and partners who've contributed so much. They're going to share with us their highs and their lows. We'll come back to them in a little while, but we're just going to have a quick talk to some of the other people that we know that work hard for Sea-Watch all year round, and just look at their year ahead as well, because again, it's not just National Whale and Dolphin Watch and Orca Watch, it's a year-long piece of work. So we met Katrin Lorengel, our monitoring officer, on Monday. She's going to join us now and just talk a little bit more with me about other aspects of her work and what the rest of the year holds in store for her. So Katrin, are we there at the moment? There's Katrin. Hello, good evening.
Hi, Robin.
Well, it's been a busy week for us, but we're not the only ones. I know you're not sort of directly involved with Orca Watch. At least you didn't think you were going to be directly involved with Orca Watch.
Yeah,
but of course, you did send us one of our sightings, didn't you?
I did, yes. We received a phone call on Friday, actually, about a lady who was very excited to report some orcas. And I thought she must have gotten the wrong number. She was calling to report them for Orca Watch, but she had no idea Orca Watch was actually happening. So she was very excited to hear about the event and to follow up on that.
Well, as you'll have seen, I mean, we've shared the photographs that she took that evening, and it was lovely that she got involved. So a big thank you there. But as we've said, it's not all we do, and your work will continue, obviously. So just remind everybody, just very briefly, just what it is you do, your core work, which will continue for the rest of the year.
So I'm the monitoring officer for the Cardigan Bay Monitoring Project in Newquay, one of the flagship projects that Sea-Watch has, and we monitor the semi-resident population of bottlenose dolphins, one of only 2 populations in the country, with myself, a research assistant, and a team of interns. And data is collected over the summer and then usually analysed over the winter.
Yeah, and I know you wanted to just briefly just give a good shout out to those interns and things, because it's not just you doing this work.
Oh,
It
no,
is a
definitely
team of
not.
people.
We couldn't do the work we do without the interns. Very much like volunteers support the Sightings network, the interns are really the backbone of the Cardigan Bay Monitoring Project. They're usually university graduates who are looking to get.
Are you still there, Phil? Because I've lost everything.
And at the same time, they also have the opportunity to gain valuable field skills.
Yeah, really important part of everything that we do, and it's a great way to get involved. I mean, volunteering. I'm going to talk about how I got involved as a volunteer, not as an intern. But these people go on to other things afterwards, and in fact, you're an example of that, aren't you?
Yes, so I started working with Sea-Watch for the first time in 2011 as a research assistant in Cardigan Bay, and then worked on and off for Sea-Watch in various capacities ever since, until I finally took on the role of monitoring officer in 2015. But I've done the regional coordinator work, I've done the sort of normal volunteer work, so yeah, I have a good understanding of what goes on in the various different roles at Sea-Watch.
Yeah. Well, finally, I'm just going to say a big thank you to you, Katrin, as well, for everything that you do for Sea-Watch. And I'm also going to congratulate you again, because beginning of the week, we did find out, you were being very coy about it, but we found out you're actually celebrating 10 years working for Sea-Watch. So congratulations on your 10-year work anniversary.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And thanks, Katrin.
Thank you, Robin.
Thanks a lot. Well, Katrin's working there in Newquay at our field office, which she also manages as part of her role. But elsewhere, we have other people that play an important role. And one of the people Katrin sends information to is our Dr. Dolphin creative administrator, Kirsten. And I think Kirsten too can be with us as well. Hi, Kirsten. Thank you for joining us.
Hi.
Well, you've been with Sea-Watch for quite a long while as well. Can you just briefly let everybody know how you got involved? Because we've not met you before this week, so just a few words about your background too.
Well, I joined Sea-Watch in about 2010, and I began my career as a filmmaker and media producer, and I wanted to make films about animal welfare, wildlife, conservation, and so I've volunteered for many years making films and media for different charities. And then I stumbled upon Sea-Watch, and I started to make lots of different films for Sea-Watch, all sorts of films for volunteers, educational films, trying to promote the charity. And then Peter approached me because a position came up, and the position was to run our membership scheme, Adopt a Dolphin, which is our membership scheme for children and young people. And I jumped at the chance because I have worked with children for many years. I make films with children and different groups, young people. I go into lots of different environments, and to be given this opportunity, I grabbed it with both hands. And so my job is to coordinate and manage our membership scheme. And we have lots of members, grandparents and parents buy our Adopt a Dolphin membership for the children in their lives, in their families, and they're usually children who are really interested in wildlife, really keen to learn more, and we kind of try and nurture their eco-warrior side. So
Yeah.
we're trying to get them as involved as physically possible, and they love it. It's a really close-knit sort of family group, if you will. And if I am contacted by adopters, then I keep in contact with them. So it's very much a one-to-one relationship that I build with our members.
I know sometimes, if I just chip in just a moment, I've seen, I've been there myself when it happens, and they sometimes actually go down to Newquay, meet Catherine and the team down there, and go out on some of the boat trips, and if they're really lucky, meet their dolphin, but at least meet some of them, hopefully.
Yeah, it's a brilliant scheme, I have to say. Not just because I'm working for Sea-Watch and I'm managing and running it, but if I was a child, then I would love to be a member of a scheme like this, because to see.
Well, I'm going to save your blushes. I'm going to save your blushes and actually say that it was actually voted by the BBC as the best adoption scheme that's out there. There are other adopt dolphin schemes, and you can adopt monkeys and elephants and all sorts of things, but it's voted by BBC as the best of the lot. And I mean, I think it's, at least in part, because of the link with the real dolphins, and I know there's a real partnership between the research and the adoption programs.
Oh, it's this a really strong link. So Catherine, our monitoring officer, she decides with her interns which dolphins they're seeing most regularly, and then she contacts me, and we update our list of dolphins every so often, so that the dolphins that are up for adoption are really the dolphins that we're seeing pretty much week on, week off, and we can report on their behaviours, who's hanging out with who, which of the females have had calves. And so it's such a tight-knit membership, it really is. And then, of course, like you've said, the children can actually get their boat vouchers. They come along with their adoption packs and their fluffy toys, and they come along to Newquay with their boat vouchers, and they can go out on the boats, and they can actually see their dolphin or the dolphins that are hanging out in the bay that day. So being wild animals, obviously, then you're not guaranteed to see, but there's a strong chance if you're visiting in the summer.
Yeah, and at the very least, they'll get a guided tour of the centre, and see the information and all of the rest of it, which is just fabulous. So we love meeting our members. We really do.
Yeah. I remember one year we had some adopters who were actually visiting Newquay and writing diaries about their day there. And we were publishing their work in our newsletters. So our monthly newsletters was full of, work produced by these young, keen wildlife enthusiasts.
Yeah. And I know you have a book based on the whole thing as well, and some of the actual dolphins. Again, it's a story based on reality.
Yeah, it's a little girl called Lucy. She's fictional, but actually she is based on a young adopter, and she visits Newquay, and they go on a family holiday, and she ends up having the adventure of a lifetime. It's a book called The Magic Dolphin. It's full of photographs taken by Catherine and the interns and the people working in Newquay. So you're buying a book which is a fictional story, but it's factual as well. It's very educational, and it's full of photographs and illustrations of the dolphins and the environment in Newquay.
Well, just before we move on to talk to Fran, who's one of our education assistants, I know Chiara manages the education assistant program, and Catherine's there sort of at the place, but you've got quite an involvement with that education program as well. So just tell us a little bit about your role in that as well, please, before we hand over to Fran.
Yeah, sure. So I am contacted by schools. A lot of contacts come to me through my book, and they want me to come and do book readings. But many teachers email just because they've seen the website. They want to adopt. So adopt for their class or they adopt for their school. And we roll out an educational program. So we visit the schools, or the schools visit us, or we do online talks, which is, been particularly useful these last couple of years. And we talk about the local marine environment, really, that the children, if they're a coastal school, then we teach them about their local marine environment. We teach them about the project going on in Cardigan Bay. We teach them and talk to them about how they can get involved. If they're keen eco warriors, then what they can do as young people to make the change that I think a lot of children really understand.
Yeah.
What needs to happen to keep our planet and to keep our environment safe, and it gives them the chance to start learning about that. So,
I can absolutely vouch for that. Yeah, I mean, that's so very, very true. I mean, as you know well, when I was teaching for years, every school I worked in, we adopted one of the dolphins, and I can absolutely vouch for the fact that the children were so engaged with it. We had little displays around in the school, and it just generated so much. Right, well, we'll have to move on. We need to talk to Fran, but that's been fabulous to find out about it. And I will just add to what Kirsten said, that as well as adopting a dolphin, one other way of actually getting involved with Adopt a Dolphin is if you become a Sea-Watch member. We have a family adoption as well, in which case most of the Adopt a Dolphin benefits also come through that as well. So you can pay extra to be a family member and get the benefits of Adopt a Dolphin and the membership as well. So Kirsten and I are sort of working together on that and trying to improve those links all the time too. So
absolutely
fabulous to hear about it all. And again, as we keep saying, thank you for all that you do for Sea-Watch and to help the dolphins. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thanks, Robin.
Thanks. See you again soon. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, well, as we said, we have one more person to meet, and another important member of the team, one of those interns, a rather special intern, and we'll talk a little bit about that, the education assistant. And hopefully Fran is there in Newquay to join us. Hi, Fran.
Hiya.
Hi, nice to see you. It looks nice and bright behind you still.
Yeah, we've still got about an hour before the sun goes down, so it's lovely here.
So just tell people where you are at the moment, just so that they've got an idea.
So I'm in the field office at Newquay, in looking out over Cardigan Bay. Really, really excited. And we are, so Newquay is in the county of Ceredigion in West Wales, and our little office here is right on the car park just above Dollo Beach, which is fantastic because a lot of people, as they're passing by, if they parked or whatever, they see the porpoise made out of reclaimed sea rubbish, which was in a previous photo that you guys saw. And he's called Percy, and he gets people thinking about, should I throw my rubbish away? Should I avoid plastic? Oh, is there a dolphin thing around here? So it's a really nice location. And we're really, really lucky to have the education hub at the bottom and then these offices at the top where Katrin and the research interns do their really important monitoring work.
Yeah, well, I want to point out to everyone that like me and most of the people involved in Sea-Watch, indeed most of the people involved in most charities, don't actually get paid for what they do. You are, well, I kind of call you a super intern because we have our kind of regular interns, but the education assistant's just sort of a little bit of a different role, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a lot. It's really, really exciting. It's such a good opportunity. But yes, I am pretty much the one running the hub with my colleague downstairs. And yeah, we have a lot of different educational tools down there. I mean, you can see here, we have children visiting all the time who love the arts and crafts, and we tend to have educational discussions with them as they're doing things, helping to make binoculars so that they then can focus their eyes to actually kind of learn how to look out for fins and just to focus the vision. Obviously, cardboard rolls don't magnify, but it's still also just a bit of fun for them. So yeah, the hub is a really, really nice place where people can just come to find out about the dolphins. ask about marine life in general, just get out of the sun for a little while. We're dog friendly as well, obviously, and we have a big kind of diversity of different tools like visual, manual, and just us talking as well, which hopefully should appeal to any sort of learning person.
Yeah. Had you been an intern with us previously? Because I know some of our EAs are interns who've actually done the other program first and then agree to come back. Are you new to us, or have you been an intern with the rest of the program earlier?
So I'm new to Cardigan Bay. I have known about this project for a long time and wanted to get involved. But yes, no, I'm new to this. I have my first experience with dolphins was actually under someone who did her PhD with Peter, who founded Sea-Watch. So it's a small world, but yes. No, I'm really happy to be here this time. And yeah, this is news for me, but we did work remotely.
Yeah, the other interns, as we've said earlier, support Catherine in going out on the boat trips, collecting the data, processing all of that. Lots of kind of work on the computers, watching from the pier and so on. But as you've just said, you're primarily involved with the hub. I know they let you out occasionally, which is nice. Why did you want to do it though? Because I mean, to anybody watching the program at the moment, the idea of coming to work as hard as all you interns do for no pay whatsoever, and even having sometimes in some of the interns' cases, I mean, we don't charge our interns for the program, which is not the case with all charities, but you do have to find a way of making a living while you're with us. What on earth possesses you to join up with no pay to work so hard?
Well, I mean, on a depressing note, I mean, it is quite a tough job market out there, especially for conservation. So a lot of us are using this as a really, really fantastic way to also kind of bridge the gap between one paid job and another. But this internship for me is really exciting because I have spent a lot of time looking at sort of human-wildlife conflict and not necessarily in this country. And so this is just a fantastic community because there's just collaboration everywhere. We collaborate with dolphin spotting boat trips. I mean, there's a voluntary code of conduct around here. Everyone is so concerned with these animals. It is so inspiring. And Sea-Watch has done such a fantastic job of sort of building ties with the local community. And that's part of my role now as well. But for me, like, the biggest benefit of this is it's really, really, really valuable education and sort of experience in actually the soft skills that you don't get taught at university, like how to actually connect people to nature, how to spark that passion, to tell people about dolphins you've seen that they can then come and adopt, and to know the mannerisms of the inter-individual kind of relationships. It's not something that comes around very often, and it's not something you often have an opportunity to do without sort of a permanent contract. So this is a really, really, really special opportunity for people doing my role.
Well, I know we are incredibly grateful to you and all of the interns that work behind the scenes, crunching the data, gathering the data, running the centre, all of the things that you do. And good luck for your future career. And thank you for giving us your time this evening. Much appreciated.
Thank you for having me.
Very welcome. Bye for now.
Bye.
Well, we are very, very lucky to have such an amazing team. And those interns, we have teams of them join us every year. Quite often, the special roles, the research assistants and the education assistants are interns that come back for a second time, which is kind of why I referred to that particular issue. Okay, we're going to have a look now at the final updates from all of our observers. They're going to share our highs and lows with us. And I'm hoping we can go to Claire first of all. Claire Boardman in Caithness. Are you there? Claire is there. Hello, Claire. Well, it's been a fabulous week. I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed it here. I know you guys have. What's been the real high spot for you, do you think? I'm not hearing you, Claire. You're not muted, are you, by any chance?
Yes, sorry, I was.
You are. Okay. Hi, Claire.
So I haven't really seen much myself. I mean, I've been running around trying to catch the fins, but I haven't had much luck. But my highlight is probably getting all the girls together and doing watches, especially going out on the ferry together. It, you know, even though the weather wasn't great and we didn't see much, it was a good laugh.
Yeah.
And it's that social interaction that I quite, that's my high, really.
Yeah, we showed the picture earlier in the week of you all gathered in the mist to go on the jog ferry. So yeah,
it looked like we were going to the Arctic.
Yeah, it did somewhat. Yeah. What I mean, there are always some lows in the midst of this. Is there anything that's been? I guess it's not having quite as many sightings as you'd hoped for. Maybe, is it, or is there something else?
The low would be when the 27s were coming up the coast and everybody saw them, and we were so convinced that they were going to come up past Dunnet Head. I mean, I stayed up there until midnight. By that time, you know, running a business and everything, I was so tired by then and it was starting to get pretty dark anyway, so we couldn't see anything. Yeah. But that's probably the low. Everybody else saw it and I didn't.
Yeah, we've all been there so many different ways at different times. But you know, it's. But you get your rewards later, don't you? In the end, I mean, it's always tough at the time, but you get your chance later on, and it's kind of what keeps us doing it, isn't it?
Exactly. Yes. No, I'll get to see them eventually. Hopefully, it'll be in my own back garden, in the bay at the back. That would be absolutely superb.
Well, I know you've had other roles as well. I mean, it's not just doing the watches and doing the sightings, but I know as regional coordinator how much work there is that goes into it. You know, gathering the paperwork up, looking after people, supporting them, you know, helping them learn the skills. And of course, like all of us, you do it while trying to sort of have a normal life and hold down a job and family and all of the other things. So thanks so much, Claire, for all of the work, and good luck with the next step in the sightings.
It's a pleasure. Hopefully I'll get to see the orca come past tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely hope so for you, Claire. Thanks a lot for being with us. Okay, I think in theory we should have Steve Truelock with us as well. Is Steve hanging around there somewhere? You there, Steve?
There he is. I hear you loud and clear, Robin.
Excellent. Good to have you there. Well, I'm not going to try and second guess what you're going to say, but go on. Tell us what your highlight of the week is.
Well, have a guess. It's obviously seeing. Well, actually, you might not be able to guess, but it's actually seeing other people see the 27s.
Yeah.
My whole drive for being involved with Orca Watch is actually to get other people involved and get them to see the orcas. I'm a great believer that if someone sees these magnificent animals, then they'll care more about them. And we've seen it in the Murray Firth with the dolphins, how communities have got together to rally against ridiculous proposals in the special area of conservation for the dolphins. So yeah, I'm really thrilled that I got to see several people that I know who are desperate to see orcas actually see them. But obviously, first and foremost, young lad James, who came all the way up here from Dover on public transport, and he went through thick and thin through the mist, and finally got his orcas on his 27th birthday. And it was the 27s. I mean, it's stuff that you just couldn't write.
It seriously doesn't get better than that. I said the other night when I was talking, I mean, there's nothing better. You're quite right. We love to see them. We're just passionate about it. But actually being able to show people their first cetaceans is just, it's such a special experience. You can't describe it really.
Yeah, we were actually, I was talking to one of the crew members. Actually, while I'm on, I want to give a massive shout out to John O'Groats Ferries. They've been absolute troopers all week. They've put on extra wildlife tours for us. They've been superb, and although we didn't get any orca sightings, we actually had some amazing porpoises today, and some great minke whales, including that breaching minke. But yeah, one of the lads that works on the boat, he was telling me how he just absolutely loves seeing people, even just seeing seals. And we've all got to remember that we're in the privileged position to, you know, see things like seals and porpoises fairly regular, and there's a lot of people that don't get to see them. So yeah, even just showing someone a seal or a puffin, you know, it's such a privilege to see their face light up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know you're very much a glass half full guy, but do you have a low spot for the week?
Well, I mean, my low is actually linked to the high. It's you know, looking around and seeing all the glum faces and the faces of people around who are just, you know, having a really lovely time, but obviously knew that, you know, they were here to see orcas. And when you're looking out from Duncansby Head and just you can't even see the sea, I don't know. I've got to confess, even on sort of on Friday morning, I was glass more than empty. I was really like, we're done here. You know, this isn't going to happen. But yeah, oh man, what a turnaround! And that's what Orca Watch does. Almost every single time we have these sort of low points where things aren't going to plan, and then bam. And yeah, what a day Friday was, and Saturday morning, to be honest.
Well, I look forward maybe next year or maybe even sooner. I'm coming up to the Moray Firth to see friends in the not too distant future, and I know that's your area, your home areas. So hopefully we'll actually finally get to meet for real. But thanks, Steve, for everything this week. It's been a pleasure.
Look forward to meeting you, Robin.
Cheers now. Bye, Steve. Okay, our other on the scene coordinator is Lucy Baldwin, and Lucy should be with us too. Hopefully Lucy is there. I know you are really busy, Lucy, and thank you so much, because you've got a job interview coming up, I understand.
I do, and I got it when I was in John O'Groats, so I couldn't do very much for it. I just parked it until today, so.
Well, fingers crossed. I'll be rooting for you. Go on, tell us about your high spot, because you've done a great job for us up there.
Thank you. High spot. I mean, you've done me a bit dirty, put me after Steve, because he said essentially everything that I could say.
Well, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, Friday night was amazing. I mean, it was pretty much like last chance saloon for me, because I was leaving at about 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. So it was getting to like 9 o'clock on the Friday, and I was like, this is my absolute last chance. So I'm glad it all worked out the way it did. So I think the high moment was obviously the 27s, but seeing them come around the corner at the headland was, I think, the best bit. There were people on the headland kind of waving madly. And then we just saw kind of the first fins come around the headland, and it was just, as Steve said, it's so good to see people who've never seen them before. Or just everyone really just kind of really enjoy it. And it had been a little bit frustrating earlier on in the week. It was getting a little bit a lot of mist. And even when the mist cleared, there wasn't too much in the way of sightings earlier in the week. So it was a really great end. Yeah,
it's good to end on a high for sure. Yeah, I mean, you have done a great job for us. It's been really fabulous what you've done. Do you, again, people don't always want to say about a low spot. Do you have a low spot that you want to share?
I think as Steve said, when it was getting to kind of, I think, Thursday-ish, even the weather had kind of cleared up, but there wasn't much going on. And it wasn't necessarily a low, because it's still good to even get out. And, you know, it was great to meet new people. It was great to be on the boat with new people. You know, the social aspect, you know, that Claire talks about is great. And it's just nice being out there. But it was getting a little bit difficult to keep the momentum up. But it was worth it. And I think when you finally get that moment that you've kind of waited for, you forget about all the hours you've sat there staring at the mist. So... Yeah, it didn't feel like a low at the end of the day.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, particularly after everything we've all gone through for the last 18 months or so, you know, to get out at all and meet people is just quite something else. We're none of us used to it yet, I don't think. No, fabulous. And good luck with the interview.
Thank you.
Thanks for everything, Lucy.
That's okay. You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Bye. Okay. We've heard from her earlier in the week, but our partner from Omri on Orkney is Emma Webb, and she should be with us now, I think.
Hello.
Hello, Emma. I lost my teeth there for a minute.
It happens to us all.
Yeah. Well, you've come out of the ha, which has got to be one of the positives, but yeah.
Definitely.
What is your real high spot of the week?
I think for us as a fairly new organisation, this is the first Orca Watch that we've really kind of organised up here for Orkney. It's always been a little bit ad hoc previously. Just the response we've had from people and actually being able to get out there and, okay, we haven't had the best sightings, we haven't had the best weather, but it's nice just to be able to get out, to start recording some data. We've got a lot of very good volunteers up here who are quite new to this, so getting them the chance to get out there and have some experience and seeing them improve and watching their skills get better has been really good. We've also generated a lot of good data this week. So, okay, a lot of it might be negative data, but we've still got a lot of data.
Well, I don't know if you were tuned in at that point, because I know sometimes in the green room you can't hear, but I did give you a shout out early in the show with the sightings that have come from Orkney. So I know you've not had the Orca experiences, but you did kick off our Orca for us on the Friday. I know that's unofficial, but I'm going to count it. I don't care.
We'll take whatever we can get.
Absolutely. What's been, I mean, apart from the fog, or is that the only negative?
It's not. And to be honest, it's Orkney, it's May, June. For us, it kind of means summer's on the way. So, you know, we put a positive spin on it. And to be honest, we're used to it. Most of us living up here who've been here or, you know, been here all their lives or more recent arrivals kind of get to read the weather up here. You get used to it and you get to know what's going to happen. So I have to admit, I'd predicted the HAR was going to roll in probably a couple of weeks ago, that it would happen as soon as Orca Watch started, and sure enough, it did. It seems to do it every year for us. So don't really see it as a negative. People still got out there and they still watched and gave it their all. I think for us, it's twofold. It's not getting an official orca sighting when everyone else was getting all the luck. But hey, our turn will come. For me personally, just to be completely selfish, it's my low is having not actually seen anything all week. I seem to be going through a real barren spell at the moment, even to the extent we went out on the Omri boat yesterday and everybody else saw a minke whale and I was scanning in the opposite direction. So I will be going out as soon as I finish this to get something.
No, life is sometimes just not fair.
It's not. I've missed the 2 recent orca sightings in Sandy as well, working offshore, which was really galling because nobody lets me forget that. So, but that's the way it goes. Been doing this long enough to know that sometimes it's just not meant to be.
It is just the way it is, but your reward will come later. Trust me.
It better do.
Emma, thanks for all of your work, and do thank the team for us as well, because it's been outstanding, really, what's gone on. You deserved better, really.
We did. We're going to make up for it in National Whale and Dolphin Week. That's my prediction.
Absolutely. Thanks, Emma.
Thank you.
See you again soon. Bye now. Okay, we're joined now, hopefully, by Hugh Harrop in Shetland. Are you there, Hugh? Hello, Hugh.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going?
Oh, good. Yeah, well, a bit like with Steve, I think I can probably guess what your high spot is, but I will leave it to you to tell us.
There's been several, actually, but yeah, certainly Monday's events where we pretty much found out that there was a new calf in the 12s pod. That was, as always, just from a conservation point of view, as well as a you know, just a recording and an interest point of view. That was really, really nice to see. That was a long day, but very worthwhile. We've actually had I've had three encounters with orcas this week, so it's been a really good week for that, as well as quite a lot of harbour porpoise and minke whale. But some more breaking news. Many will. I've literally just gone and been out. We found a North American bird today called a lesser yellowleg. So the bird is among you. That's not the breaking news. That's nearly as good as what. But you will recall. I think I should remember the date because it was my daughter's birthday. It was the 2nd of June. A photographer and a naturalist that lives on Uns, Robbie Brooks. Robbie takes some.
Just 1 second, Hugh. I've lost sound from you at the moment. I don't know if you can still hear me.
Okay. Yep. I've got you back now.
You're good.
Excellent. Yeah. So
you mentioned Robbie Brooks, and then we lost you.
Right. Yeah. So Robbie had an encounter with orcas off Hermanus and Muckle Flugger. But the end of Britain, pretty much. It'll be certainly the most northerly record of the week. He took just what, you know, in his own words, will be record shots, but fantastic shots nevertheless for identification. And both Karen Monroe, Steve, and I, we looked at them and just not looking at them in detail, thought it was going to be the 12s pod again. But credit where credit's due. Robbie blew up the image and sent us the raw file with the suggestion that it was animal 17 from the 15s pod. Which I've come in tonight. Robbie sent me the original raw files, downloaded them, looked at them, and they are indeed, I can definitely say. So that's another pod that we can put on the chalkboard for this week. It's another Icelandic pod, and another, like the 12s, a particularly rare pod. The last time I saw the 15s in Shetland was 2016. So 5 years since that record, and I'm pretty sure that was the last time they were recorded. So we have had some animals from that pod matched in Iceland back in 2019 as well. So yeah, that's literally just in the last sort of 20 minutes or so.
That's fabulous.
Confirm that.
Thank you for breaking that. I mean, that's twice this week, Hugh, breaking news.
Yeah,
well done.
Yeah.
How can you have a low after that? You can't have a low, surely.
Never have a low. I mean, we're blessed with wildlife on our doorstep. The phone might go now and say there's orcas. We had a brilliant encounter with them on Friday afternoon. Fortunately, we're guiding groups at the moment, so one of our groups actually saw orcas 3 times with us as well. So that's really, really good. But no, it's just been an amazing week, and a big thank you. And certainly one of the highlights for me is the coming together of everybody that is interested in orcas. That's all the presenters, all the people like Philip and Hannah that have worked so hard behind the scenes. We're all enjoying this, and everybody is tapping into it. So a big shout out to Hannah and Philip, who has done an amazing job, and just brought the whole sort of orca community, and whether that's presenters or guests. Last night's interview with Julia and Sana, and afterwards with Philip was brilliant. And the biggest problem you've got now is how you're going to get any better than this next year. And I think just keep it. Not everybody can head up to Orca Watch at Caithness. So it would just be great to see this event, 50% of it online and as much in the field as possible. So this is the first time I think anybody has ever done anything like this. And for use of a better phrase, and as we say in Welsh rugby, you've nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. It's a grand slam of orca watching. So well done.
Well, big round. That's really kind of you. Thank you very much for that, Hugh. And I mean, I echo what you said about the behind the scenes team as well. But actually, one of the things that Chiara and I only touched on it, and I was going to bring it up in a few minutes, but I'll do it now as you've brought it. I think the other big success of Orca Watch is just what you've said. It's the way it has brought everybody involved together in a way that I don't think has happened before, because in a weird way, because we can't physically be together, we've really pulled out all the stops and found a way to bring everybody together and get everybody involved, the people on the ground and everyone else. So I think that's been amazing. All the different partners that we've been working with, all of the different people on the ground, the people behind everything. It has been it's been a real pleasure here to be part of it. So thanks for that.
Yeah, no, and it's great. You know, if you look at the sort of at the Facebook groups, you look at the Orca Watch group and all the regional groups. If you look at all the feel good factor in there and the positivity, there's a lot of negative stuff on social media, as we all know too well. But you know, all of those groups just flourish with goodness and kind people. So it's nice to have this as another level.
Yeah.
So well done to everybody.
Great. Thanks so much, Hugh, for this week and for that.
Welcome. Next time next year.
Absolutely. Bye now.
Cheers.
And finally, our other regular participant this week has been Karen in Shetland. Is Karen there yet? Karen Hall in Shetland, our regional coordinator. Also has a proper job with NatureScot.
From the sound, and I'm a bit distracted because there's a couple of Nisecs, as we call them up here, porpoises just below me. But you obviously can't make them out of the screen. But yeah, they've just been gently going by, so that's always a bonus.
Well, we've heard from everyone else, so you're the last one to add into the mix. So I don't know if you're going to clash with any of our previous highlights, but what's been your real highlight from the week?
Oh, I mean, there's been a few. I mean, I echo everybody on Caithness's highlights about the 27s. It's always a joy to see them. And although selfishly it'd be great if they were back up here, we know we'll get them again, but it's good that everybody got to see them. I mean, we've been blessed with a lot of good sightings this week. And as we say in Shetland, every day is Orca Watch. So, you know, it's a good start. I think a couple of highlights for me would be I've been hanging around, sounds a bit dodgy, at the car park at Sunbury Airport, watching Orca one night, and then the following night at sort of 11:30 at night watching porpoise and an otter. That was just brilliant, with a few people that decided to join me. So that was a really nice feeling. And then again, a bit of breaking news for rissos. Actually, this time we've got a friend sent me some photos of rissos that we're seeing on what we're calling Super Friday, because that seemed to be where we got huge numbers of sightings everywhere of rissos that he saw at the west side of Papastour. And we've got a match with one of them from a photograph taken in 2014 in North Sound. So that's really good. That's showing sort of a returning or perhaps semi-resident rissos pod as well. So that's quite a good. I love it when we come together.
That is nice. Yeah, I mean, we've called this Orca Watch, and of course Orca have been the focus of it, but it's lovely to hear you say how nice it is watching porpoises and otters and minke whales. I mean, we've had so many other things too. So yeah, it's good to remember that we're all of us interested in all of the wildlife around us, and not just that one iconic species. Do you have a low spot? Do you get low spots?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's just being silly, really, but my low spot is actually having had to work during the week. So when all the alarms are going off and things are going off and I'm stuck in a meeting going, oh, I can't really get out. But, you know, I am very fortunate. As Hugh says, it's all on our doorstep. So, you know, I'm just being very selfish there when I sort of have to actually do work. So.
Yeah. Well, real life does have to take over sometimes. And again, it is important to stress to everyone watching that all of the people involved in this side of the work are volunteers, paid jobs for some of us to do other things. Some of us don't have those at all, but we do this because we love it and we're passionate about it and we like to make a difference. And you've certainly done that this week, Karen.
Well, so it's been brilliant. As Hugh said, it's been great to be more involved, because often we feel that we're kind of, you know, because we're not in Caithness with everybody else and not really seeing people, you kind of feel maybe a wee bit left out. But it's been great to sort of have that sort of joining up in the evenings just to hear what everybody else is seeing and you know, chat and see what else is going on. So that's been brilliant.
Yeah. Well, we've loved it as well. It's been a pleasure to meet you. And one day, as I've said to the others, hopefully we'll actually meet in person. So until then, goodbye for now. Thank you so much again.
Yeah, you're welcome. See you later, Robin. Bye.
See you. Bye, Karen. Well, there we go. We could not have done what we've done this week without all of those people involved and all of the other volunteers that are working with them. So big thank you to all of our people on the ground, of course. Okay, so let's just start to wrap this up. I'm going to hand over to our director, Dr. Peter Evans, very soon. But first, just a little look back at one or two things. Reminder that please, if you've enjoyed Orca Watch and you would like to support the work that the Sea-Watch Foundation does, you will find that donation button just below your screen. You can link to our PayPal giving fund there and make a donation. If you'd like to adopt a dolphin or become a member of Sea-Watch or just want more information about what we do visit the website seawatchfoundation.org.uk. Everything you need to know is there. And please, if you haven't donated or supported yet, just a last shout out from me. Please, we need every penny we can get to make this work continue in the future. Finally, before I hand over to Peter, I would just like to add my thanks. I've thanked the people as we've gone along, but the team behind the scenes that are feeding me the information, that are providing all of that, every time that I'm doing this, Hannah and Phil behind the scenes, it really has been a pleasure working with the two of them. I certainly couldn't have done this without them. And to you at home for watching and for being part of this, thank you very much for your involvement in all of that. It's certainly been amazing fun to do it. We've talked about the interns and volunteering. I'll just very, very quickly say to you that you never know where that volunteering can lead. My background is not in whales and dolphins. I was a passionate teenager, loved wildlife, but never imagined for a million years that I would get involved in actually being doing anything. I started working with International Dolphin Watch as a volunteer, sticking magazines in an envelope and stamps on there. I became a teacher, got involved as an education director, volunteer for International Dolphin Watch, later met Peter up in Scotland, volunteered there. I was supporting the research into Moray Firth dolphins with a boat project I set up, later became regional coordinator in Yorkshire, then a trustee, then a director. Now I travel the world educating people about marine conservation, talking about whales and dolphins, and working as the ambassador for Sea-Watch, again in a volunteer capacity. I've had an absolute blast and got to where I am today. So I just want to urge you to get involved and do something. Everybody can do something, even if it's just going to your local beach and organising beach cleans. It's a reward in itself, but you never ever know where it's going to take you. It's been a pleasure being with you this week. So for now, I'm going to sign off and hand over to our director there in Anglesey, Dr. Peter Evans. Hello, Peter.
Hi, Robin. Thanks very much for that. And thank you so much for the whole week hosting the event. But before I say some other thanks, I just want to mention that I live on the north coast of Anglesey in North Wales. I face sort of the Isle of Man, and the porpoises actually at the moment, Nesics as they are called in Shetland, out in front of me in the bay. And I've just had a call, in fact, through of some colleagues of mine who are out doing line transects just south of the Isle of Man, and they've had 19 minke whales. It's a very calm day, calm evening, and it just shows you that wherever you are around Britain, there is a wealth of marine life that you can see. They've also had 13 rissos as well, and a number of porpoises and so on, and large numbers of manx shearwater. So there's obviously a lot of food around there for them. But you can go to anywhere really in Britain and have a good chance of seeing cetaceans. In fact, during our National Whale and Dolphin Watch, I think we average about a bit over one animal per hour anywhere in Britain. So it's definitely worth going out to the coast and out onto the sea wherever possible. So first of all, I'd like to echo Robin's thanks to Karen and Steve and Emma and Lucy and Claire for all their field efforts and their broadcasts that they've done. And particularly also to our guest speakers and panelists, Philippa, Hugh, Karen, Julia, both Karens, of course, there, Julia and Sana. And a big thank you to Chiara for all her coordinating efforts behind the scenes and producing of the maps and so on. To other staff, Katrin and Kirsten and Fran, along with our interns and home volunteers for their efforts behind the scenes. And particularly thanks to Hannah, who was the organizer of Orca Watch from start to finish. So you never really saw her, but she played an enormous role in this. We couldn't have done it without her. And obviously, certainly to Philip, who you also didn't see, but for running the technical aspects and making it run so smoothly and professionally. And of course to Robin again for hosting each of the evenings. He's done a brilliant job at that. We also thank our main sponsor, NatureScot, and all our other supporters that you'll see coming up now. So NatureScot there, and the various supporters that we've had, John O'Groats Ferries in particular, but also all the other, the schools and then the accommodation providers who are looking forward to seeing you as soon as is feasible. And of course to our partners and friends from other organizations that this work couldn't happen without them really as well. And of course to the ones I mentioned earlier who have done a lot of the field watches and coordinated the sightings data that we have. And finally, we thank you, the viewers, for joining us and participating with lots of interesting questions. Feel free to continue sending questions. And if you have any feedback on what you liked and what we could improve, please email us at Orca Watch online. Oh, I think it's just Orca Watch 2021 actually at gmail.com. So send us your emails and we'll take note of what you've said and answer any questions that you may have. So fingers crossed for Orca Watch 2022. And when we hope we will see you all in person, or a lot of you in person anyway. And fingers crossed as well, we might be able to run an online session each evening alongside that. So thank you again and good night to you all.